Eggo waffle.
Homestyle, buttermilk, blueberry, chocolate chip, minis.
Dude, there's no such thing as a good,
Are you serious right
a
now?
good waffle that you put into a toaster.
Dude.
Bro, you got to get a real waffle.
Dude.
And then you put peanut butter on it.
Bro.
Bro.
I mean, that does sound good. I love peanut butter. I've never had a peanut butter waffle. That sounds good.
Bro, honestly.
Just peanut
it's
butter?
A game. No, peanut butter and syrup.
And syrup.
Yeah, dude.
And butter? And regular butter?
I don't use butter.
Did you ever have toast with peanut butter and butter? Dude, it's like exponentially better than just peanut butter.
What?
I'm telling you.
So you put then you put the peanut butter on.
Whoa.
What was that?
Dude, how did I like hear you? Whoa.
Because your phone. Is that
No, I just put that on. That was weird.
That was like I could hear myself twice.
Whoa. That was sweet. But yeah, it's toast, butter, like a good grass-fed unsalted butter, and then peanut butter. And it's awesome. Michael Joling in here. What up, dude? Nice to see you. Bright and early on fight week, baby. Fight week. Tuesday of fight week.
Folks, this is what we call the show before the show. We're not starting the show until noon, but this gives us a chance to like make sure sound is good and all that stuff, and then gives you a chance to kind of eavesdrop on us just BSing.
Yeah, boy. Side note, not really a side note, but we were discussing something that I want to get back to. Real quick, I sent a blitz. What's up, Cairo? Is Kama's fight still MMA? We're going to talk a lot about that here shortly. It's actually a pro kickboxing bout. So it is not MMA. It is our first ever pro kickboxing bout. And
what about? I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's a crazy match.
Let's just be honest here. Let's just cut to the chase.
Boyd.
No one is going to a Kama worthy fight to watch grappling.
Hey, truth.
So why even
guillotine.
Make that be a part of it?
Why not?
Let's just go kickboxing.
Give them what they want. Give them what they want anyway. Everybody knows when there's grappling in a Kama fight, that's the part that you don't want to see. So now we're just going to not even let that be an option.
When they're on the ground, you're like, okay, guys, get up. You don't have to worry about that. They're always going to be up.
Yeah, but I mean, the best part, I think, is it's so rare that you get a replacement fight where the opponent ends up being somebody like Austin Tweedy. It's usually like, no offense to the people who do last minute fights, but there's a lot of journeymen out there that just kind of will fight for money, and that's all they want.
And that's not all the time, but that's sometimes.
On a week's notice, that's usually the kind of guy you find. Not a legit town prospect like this. That's crazy. So Austin Tweedy's been a Contender Series vet. He's 11-4. He's
He's really good, man.
He's jacked.
He is jacked.
If muscles win fights, he's
dude. He's like Dalton Ross, the 55ers.
Wow. Dom John's in the chat too. What's up, dude? Nice to see you here, brother.
Just to let you all know, this isn't the podcast.
No, not yet. Not yet. We got 9 minutes.
We're live at
really start talking.
But we're just kind of like making sure we're, this is your eavesdropping.
We're checking the technical things, making sure everything's good. And also the time for me to get back to this very important note. Peanut butter on a waffle, huh?
Oh yeah. Peanut butter on a waffle. It truly is a game changer. It's one of those things that like, once you have it, it's hard to just have syrup after that.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm serious.
I love peanut butter and I love waffles, so I don't see how this is going to miss.
You've never had it.
I've never even seen it like as an option. I've never even heard of somebody doing it.
Bro, it is so good. It's not even fair.
Let's go.
Not fair.
Dom John's got his second pro fight on Saturday. Sick. I don't think I've seen that announced, dude. Who you fighting for? Who you fighting against? Let's go. Let's go.
So on Tapology, they have all of the fights for 22.
This card, dude.
And dude, this whole day is
the day's going to be
so
insane. I mean, we're getting everything in line now. There's a ton of paperwork, a ton of logistics right now. The hotel information, the setup, the production, the insurance, everything.
Oh my
that
goodness,
needs done.
the insurance for this.
Not cheap.
I almost did we hear anything back from that?
I think we're good, right? Better be good.
I mean, he didn't say we weren't, but I haven't heard.
Well, we
this is
shows
what
are canceled, boys.
No, it will be. We just got to make sure, like.
No, it's totally fine. Phil Amaris, what time would you like coaches to report for the morning show? So they let us know on weigh-in day on Friday. They'll let us know the official report time, but
that's the commission that they're the ones that make you come early. We would be like, oh, come, when you feel like it.
With fights starting at noon, I would imagine that it's 10 a.m. report, 10:30, something like that.
Yep. 10:30.
Nico says weight cuts are getting out of hand. 6 foot tall flyweights and 6'5" welterweights now exist. It's making my 5'9" ass look lazy for not wanting to cut lower than 170. I don't know. I think it's just body type. Like some dudes are just built super thin.
I think there's a point of diminished return. Too.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
You got like these tall, lanky guys that while there can be advantages to that, there are also advantages to being stocky and strong, more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, look at champs throughout the years. They've seen every body type style eventually win. It's just whatever works best for you. Once you can specialize that and make it a weapon, that's the move.
Boom.
Dom John's fighting Kadarius McGinnis. Nice. Okay, let's go. Good luck, bro. That's sick. I'm happy for you. I'm glad your pro career is humming right along. Chico Ament says, we love a Justin Patton fight week. This Saturday might be your best fight card yet. I mean, if we're being honest, yes, it's 2 cards, it's 2 tickets, it's 2 live streams, all that, but it's pretty much one show. It was never intended to be 2. It just had to be because we had such an insane amount of fights. So in a way, in the back of my head, this feels like one show, like one show
with a great intermission.
Right. So if you take it as a whole, if you combine these 2 cards and pretend it's one card, it is so not even close to being our best card. Like I don't even know. Second place is a very distant second. It doesn't even make sense how good Saturday is top to bottom.
That's right.
Yeah, Phil, we will see you at 10 a.m. Let's go, dude. It's going to be a great day.
If you're just tuning in, this is the show before the show. We don't actually go live until noon for this podcast, but we kind of hang out and just chill in the moments.
Yeah, it seems like the audio must be good. Video looks good. People commenting are good. Jared Billy, let's go.
We had a little scare.
Yeah, our mixer didn't turn on for a while. Ryan eventually got it. I don't know. There's something wrong with the power button, so that's not good. Not awesome.
We made the decision, the executive decision that doesn't get turned off anymore.
Stays on. Just stays turned on. Like me when I think about Saturday's fights. Oh, sorry.
Oh, snap.
Yep. Made it weird. Jared Billy says you probably had to sell separate tickets for sanctioning purposes. Am I correct?
He is correct.
Jared Billy.
We literally tried really hard. We pushed. They would not let us do any more than 14 fights on a card, and they had to be separate tickets, had to be separate shows. Like,
could you imagine if it was one show, though, what the crowd would be like there?
It's unbelievable.
Dude.
What time would we have started?
Like 3, probably.
Yeah, I would say 3. If there was no break, we'd be a big long like a half-hour intermission.
Would have been awesome, dude.
Bro,
this is going to be
awesome. multiple intermissions.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that really loves this. Honestly, also, I like the like on the business side. I like having this data of like, how's this work? How's this do? I think we split up the cards pretty smartly as well. Like the fights that are on each, I think they each have their own separate appeal for sure. And I think like the early card is loaded with stout, and then the late card is loaded with like the other bit Indio Academy, Matt Factory. So it's like, I don't know. I think the balance is good. It's going to make a nicely paced day. Why no bundle deal, Nico? Put simply, Eventbrite doesn't support that.
Just to make things simple, And there's some logistical issues with that. Like if you buy a ticket and you're in one seat, there's no way for us to get that same seat for you for the second event. So it just
It's so
logistically
messy.
we couldn't do it.
However, there is a bundle deal on the live stream.
Because we could.
Because we can do that there. So you save $10 if you buy both live streams. Or at that point, though, you should just get the yearly subscription because you're one more live stream away from it paying for itself.
It's true. We're 2 minutes away, or at least somewhere near 2 minutes. So 2 minutes or less.
2 minute warning.
Yeah.
Put
from
Big
going
Ben
live. From the big live.
It's time for Big Ben to mount this comeback, boy. 2 minute warning. How elite, Danny Palm, how elite was Big Ben in the clutch, son? Let's go.
The legend.
Dude, you know the crazy thing is, like, I think I'll watch like Ben highlights and I just forgot how ridiculously awesome he was.
I'm right with you.
We were so
right
spoiled.
with you. Yeah. I literally, it was semi-recent, probably a month or two, watched like a Big Ben career highlights, and I was just shaking my head the whole time. I'm like, dude, a Pittsburgh quarterback hasn't made a play like that since he's gone.
Since he left,
and he did 100 of them.
He did them all the time.
You want to get fired up? There's a highlight video of just Big Ben rushing clips.
That's awesome.
He had some epic runs. I definitely remember like a 20-yard touchdown run. He dove in. Like, yeah, I remember losing my mind and just like laughing the whole time too, because it's hilarious when you realize he's going to score.
Do you remember Skinny Ben at the beginning?
Oh, yeah, like, he was significantly smaller.
Oh yeah.
He was actually like, he wasn't Lamar Jackson, but rookie Ben could definitely move like above average wheels.
Mentioning him and Lamar
Fat
Jackson.
Ben had wheels too.
Fat Ben did have wheels. He did.
Well, they were just different wheels.
Different kind of wheels.
They were like
off-road
Bettis
tires.
wheels.
Yeah, bus tires. Yeah. And that third live stream will be covered in September. Jared talking about the bundle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. We need an intro song like Ish. You guys ever listen to Ish's Relentless Project? He's got that. It's like a metalcore intro. It's like, oh yeah, now you know it's time. Yeah, it's like a
real
it's like
effing people.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. This guy listens to it. So what's up? It's fight week, ladies and gentlemen. Fight week, double fight week.
Fight week, fight week.
Fight week squared, baby. Saturday at the Monroeville Convention Center. BitB 21.5 kicks off at noon. BitB 22 kicks off at 6 p.m. 2 shows. One place, one day.
It's going to be incredible.
Need my monster truck voice. Saturday. Wrong day, shit. Don't come Sunday. Should be. Okay. All right. Let's get to it. Ryan Middleton. Fight week, double fight week. I have never been a part of a doubleheader on the same day. Never. I've never done it.
I have once.
Indeed.
Yes. This was post-COVID. We had some restrictions with seating. We had to spread out. And we had our first shows at Monroeville Convention Center. It was back-to-back, baby.
Oh, wow. That was
actually,
I didn't realize that.
It was the first shows with crowd. We had a show there that was no crowd because the crowds got shut down. That was Brawl.
What a wild time.
4 and 5. And those were on Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And then Brawl in the Burgh 6 and 7. This is going off memory. We're back to back Saturday, full crowd. Well, not full crowd, but we could have crowds. We could have people. And wow, it was great to be back. And now we're doing it because we have so many fights. We have so many fights.
Yeah.
And could you imagine? Could you believe back then that we would have 12?
No.
Are we at 12, bro? Total?
12. No. Yeah.
12 professional fights. One is a kickboxing. And it's going to be a crazy, fantastic, fabulous night.
There are genuinely any of those pro fights could be a main event on their own. Like they're all really good fighters, either really seasoned vets or really hot upcoming prospects, or local guys with a lot of appeal. I mean, Lucas is main eventing the early card, and Shaka's on that card. He's main evented for us before. Miguel's pro debut could easily be main event worthy. And then all the pro fights on the night card. There's some interesting pro fights on the night card where guys have not competed for us before. And when you sign a pro that's never competed for you before, it's a little daunting. And I know that Ryan was a little concerned about some of them because you're unproven. We don't know how you're going to sell, and you don't know what kind of crowd you're going to bring. You don't know what kind of buzz you're going to have. And at the pro level, it doesn't make sense for a regional promotion to sign fights just for the sake of having them, because you just straight up lose money on a pro fight.
And that's what it costs a lot of money to have a fight, period.
Yeah.
And we were talking about insurance earlier, and production, and all of the expenses that come along with having a show are very high. And then you add on pro purses, and if you don't sell tickets, it just doesn't make sense.
But the good news is, two of the guys that are first-time competitors for us, first-time pro competitors for us, Moose from ATT Happy Valley, Musa Al-Sulaimani, and Nico Petrides are lighting up the sales right now. They're going to have big old crowds in Monroeville, and that is super exciting. So those bouts are going to be insane. I mean, I already knew, like, Moose obviously being Bo Nichols' primary training partner, one of his primary training partners, and a fundamental piece of that ATT Happy Valley crowd,
and a national champion boxer.
Not to mention,
collegiate national champion
from
boxer from Penn State.
Plus, being just a really savvy businessman in general, entrepreneur, he's killing it. So that's expected from him. And then Nico, we heard really good things from Angelo and Made Men about Nico, so we kind of did have a heads up on him that he would be great to work with, and totally delivered, and then some. So shout out those two dudes for crushing it and bringing the heat.
Another shout out. I want to give a shout out to Tim Brunton, who's listening right now, I believe, and
Nice.
gonna clip up some spots for us, and so we have some promo videos to put out on social media.
Yeah, let's go, Tim.
Tim Dog.
Cut him, dog.
Showdown Graphics. What up?
That's sick. AJ Germain all the way from Germany watching the podcast.
Wow.
Look at this. International, says the Hunter Taker's cooking right now. The albino Undertaker. Love it.
I love the albino Undertaker nickname.
It'll be out Saturday night. I don't think Saturday day show I'll be a little less stressy, I think. It's more of a night outfit,
Night out.
The hat is for night.
What are you wearing during the day?
I don't know.
Something planned here?
No, I don't plan it.
The Dan Marino jersey.
Bro. Marino.
No.
12 p.m. college kickoff. Pit.
No Marino.
No.
Please, no Marino. Okay.
No Marino.
Okay, so Brawl on the Burgh 21.5, 21.5. What do you say and a half or 0.5?
I've been saying 0.5 just since the hashtag says that.
Yeah, so when we first had to name it, we already had Brawl on the Burgh 22 like set. So we added a show.
Just to expand on that, it was set in that physical tickets were already printed with the time, the logo, the name. The Eventbrite page and like the ticketing page to buy was already set. So for SEO purposes, for any online purpose, it was already cached. It was like a known thing that you could look up. It was going to be super problematic to rename that one. So we were like, we need something between 21 and 22 instead.
So that's where 21.5 came from. We added a show, an extra show, which is the noon show. And thank goodness we did, because what a show we have. It's going to be a great afternoon of MMA action at the Monroeville Convention Center, led by the main event of the evening, which is Lucas the Sniper Siebert, bringing his undefeated MMA record. He's now 1-0 as a pro, but he also went undefeated as an amateur fighter. Faithing. As I'm looking at Nathaniel Grubham's name. Facing Nathaniel Grubham, and this is gonna be an explosive bout. If you don't know anything about MMA, Nathan, are we calling him Nathan?
Does he Nathaniel. He goes by Nathaniel.
He goes by Nathaniel. Yeah. Okay, so he had a very illustrious amateur career. Was won his last 6 fights.
Super high quality losses as well on his record, which is something we always look for. He only loses to absolute studs.
And he has he did have a draw as an amateur against Diego De Jesus, who's an undefeated guy at the time. So he made his MMA debut with Maverick over across the state. Lost that fight. He's coming back. He's ready to get his first pro win and upset the stout faithful at the Minerva Convention Center.
It would be such a signature win for him, and what a way to bounce back from. I mean, his pro debut was against Christian Carr, I believe, off the top of my head. And Christian Carr is another complete top prospect. I mean, we've known that name forever in the area, and he's just obviously doing great things. So this is like a dude that it kind of reminds me of Jake Zach, how Jake Zach only takes super hard fights for whatever reason. Like that's Jake Zach's style too. So this is like the same path as Nathaniel Grubham. But the really interesting angles to me are that it's at 145, not 135. Lucas is going up to 45 for it. And Lucas is not a giant bantamweight by any means. He's probably more comfortable at 35, but like he said when he was on the podcast, fighters fight. He's about it. He needs a fight, and he's going to fight. And Grubham just has a very physically imposing style, great top pressure, great jiu-jitsu in general. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. So I feel like if you were looking for and I told Lucas this on the podcast, if you're looking for somebody to beat Lucas, it's this kind of fighter, I would think. Like this is the kind of guy that should negate what Lucas does really well. And then on the flip side, every single time Lucas steps in the cage, he's like levels and levels better than you even expect. And we'll be totally honest, we knew he was good from the jump. He was obviously a guy that we promoted hard from his amateur debut all the way up through now. Now he's one of our 2 multi-fight fighters on a multi-fight deal exclusive with us. So we're well aware that Lucas is very, very talented, but every time he gets a challenge like Cam Allgaier, where we're like, this is a tough one for him. This is a really tough fight for him. And then he goes out and looks way better than expected. And that's just what he does every time. So a part of me says Grubham is a really bad matchup for Siebert. And then the other part of me says, how many times are you going to like count out Siebert before you realize he always rises above whatever you think?
And well, that's the funny thing is you made it very clear from early on when we were talking about this fight that you're like, this is the style. This is the prototype that's going to beat Siebert.
Yeah.
Can it happen now? Like, I don't know, but like, this is if I was going to just say, what do we look for someone? If you thought Siebert lost to someone, like what were the qualities? This is it right here.
Yeah, that. So I think it's really interesting, and shout out to Stout and Siebert for even taking the fight because they had other options. And they wanted this one, and I was very surprised. But I've been surprised in the past when some local guys take fights that I think are bad matchups, in my opinion, and then it goes out and works extremely well for them, and sometimes I'm right. That's the beauty of fighting, is that you never really know how it's going to play out. So all I know is that it's a sick matchup, a very awesome main event that we're honored to promote, and Siebert versus Grubham is like genuine can't-miss prospect, very early in their pro careers. It's a very exciting fight. The winner of that one and the loser, honestly, I think both guys are still going to have awesome careers regardless of what happens there. They're both insanely talented.
What a main event. And right behind it, we have 2 other professional bouts. I'm not sure if the co-main has been set or not. I don't know. Have we set that?
Yeah, it's Shaka. Shaka's fight is the co-main.
So Shaka Worthy, it comes in. He's a lineage of fighting with the Worthy brothers. You'll get to see both Worthy brothers on the 29th. Shaka Worthy, last time we saw him in the 247 cage, it was as impressive of a performance. It was a one-hitter knockout, walk home, walk away knockout. Like, it was devastating. It was awesome. Shaka's been through ups and downs, and in my opinion, he's kind of taken some fights that maybe he shouldn't have. Maybe I don't know. Ultimately, when Shaka is at his best.
Mhm.
He's one of the best there is. It's not even and you would look at his record and think, oh, he's 4-7. He's not that good. Guess what? I'm telling you, this guy is as good as it gets.
Yeah, his explosiveness is out of control. I do have to correct you just to shout out Calvin Harbaugh and his good work. He beat Shaka in between that.
Oh
wicked
yeah, my bad,
knockout
my
in
bad.
this fight. So no disrespect, Calvin. We didn't forget about you, bro. That was a great performance there too. But Shaka's knockout, legit. I mean, if you're doing a top 5 list of knockouts in 247 history, it's probably 2 or 3.
It's definitely top 5.
It's way up there. It's way up there for
Yeah.
sure. No doubt. It was as clean as it gets. Total face plant. But Shaka's thing is like everybody in the area is well aware of how talented he is. I don't want to say he's a gym legend because that's not necessarily the case, but everybody who's ever trained with him, worked with him, knows that the talent is well above that 4-7 record. So I think I'm not going to speak for Shaka or what the disconnect is, but I think it's a lot of what you said. Took some bad fights, took some hard fights. But what's really interesting about this matchup is that it's literally ditto for Mike Thompson. Like everything we just said is he's the Shaka of Michigan. Like it's really the exact type of fighter with the same career progression and the same untapped potential. So it's a really interesting fight to see which guy is going to help turn things around and get back on the right track. And one interesting note on this one is that both of these guys actually asked to be on the afternoon card. Like they preferred fighting way earlier in the day. So that I thought that was neat. They both A, just want to get the fight out of the way, but B, are excited to watch B22 without worrying about preparing. Like they just want to be settled down to enjoy the fights. So I thought that was pretty cool as well on that fight.
Super exciting. The co-main event, Mike Thompson, Shaka Worthy. You don't want to miss that fight. And then we have a pro debut fight for a local fighter that you may have heard of before. His name is Miguel Francisco, and I have a good story about him from today.
Yes. Share it. Just go right into the story.
Okay, so here's the story. I was like looking up some old Pittsburgh MMA Google stuff, right? So I find this article that is talking about this is from 2012. It's talking about the best gyms in, I think it was CBS article, local CBS. And it was best gyms in Pittsburgh. And you scroll down and it talks about, Fight Club Pittsburgh, and it talks about, the different gyms that were around then, which some of them are still around, some of them aren't. Ultimately, that's not the story. It came to what was the gym?
Schrader's
MMA. And then there was a picture of little boy Miguel Francisco.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He was 10 or 12.
I don't know how old he actually was. He looked 10 or 12. Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
It is awesome. If there's enough demand, we'll
maybe
put the
we'll
link
just post
up.
it. Maybe we'll just screenshot and post it.
So he's 25. So that was 12 years ago. So he was 12
or 13. That's crazy. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah. Miguel's 25, by the way. I didn't think he was that old. Dang. Getting old, Miguel.
He just turned 25 2 weeks ago.
Nice. Well, happy belated. I'm sure he's wanting to make his pro debut a good birthday present. But he's got, we talk about Grubham being a good style to potentially negate Lucas's strengths. I think Pat Carasquillo can be very problematic for anybody at that weight class. Just he's 6'2". He's got a really crazy lanky build for that weight class. As we were talking about earlier, Nico Rigoli made that comment about 6 foot flyweights and 6'5" welterweights. I mean, this is a 6'2" bantamweight. So he's right there. And when you see him in person, he doesn't look like he should be able to make the weight, but he also doesn't struggle with it. He's just one of those guys. I don't know if these guys just have light bones or low muscle depth. I don't know the science behind how they can do it, but that's what he weighs. It's just his body.
Yeah, I think if he wasn't a fighter, he would still weigh that. I mean, he wouldn't have to make 135 ever, but I think he would.
He wouldn't be 200 pounds.
It's just his body type. But let me go back to Miguel, talking about that, like, shows you this is his pro debut. He's been in this game for
Crazy.
12 years. Like, he was training with Mark Schrader at Schrader's MMA.
Yeah.
Like 12 years ago, that picture
so
of
nuts.
this little kid that is now, a 25-year-old debuting pro, and this is a fighter that Pittsburgh can rally around and be very proud of. Pittsburgh and Washington, and so going full circle, he started off as a his amateur career with two of his first 3 bouts were losses, and he's since strung off almost all wins. He had 1 loss in the meantime, but it's just been really good to see the maturation of a young man and a young fighter that is born and bred Pittsburgh. I mean, I consider anywhere near here.
I totally
Pittsburgh.
agree. Totally agree.
But ultimately, he's a Yinzer, and guys, you got to see this guy. This is the chance to see him make his MMA debut, pro MMA debut, and really chase after that dream, that future, that life that he really is seeking. And there's only one of these. There's only one pro debut, and this is it, folks.
Yeah, and it's been leading to this for a long time. If anybody's followed Miguel or heard him on the podcast, been on the podcast several times at this point, he's not one of those guys that's doing MMA just for funsies. He sees it as a career and a real path to the UFC someday. Like, that is his end goal. So obviously the picture on CBS, he's been putting in the work since he could walk, basically. So it's literally all led to this. And it's a huge moment. We say all the time about amateur fighters protecting their record and how that to us doesn't make any sense, because when you go pro, it resets. Everybody's 0-0. How many pros can you think of where people talk about their amateur record at all?
0.
Yeah, like, it literally doesn't matter. Like,
when you debut.
Yeah, when you debut. That maybe then.
Or if you're undefeated in both for a long time.
Exactly. Or if you had a crazy undefeated amateur record. But even then, it's like not that big of a deal.
It's like,
really.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's really not. It's cool. That's it.
And that's where I think, like, fighters should, when they're amateurs, fight different fights and have different experiences, and go up against a southpaw and go up against a grappler and go up against a striker and see all of those things for the first time as an amateur. So you're not, oh, this guy's a lanky 6'2", striker that I've never dealt southpaw striker that I've never dealt with before. Like, try to get as many looks as you can as an amateur, because you don't want to see first as a pro.
Yeah, and to be fair, kind of tough to find 6'2" bantamweights to fight at all. So that's a unique advantage that I think Pat has on a lot of people. Timbo Moore in here with a lot of Deku love. Such a good dude too. Been through a lot. You can't not pull for that kid. He's a good dude, man. Like you said, he's in the military as well. So thank you for your service, Miguel. And he's doing that for his country and sees MMA as the end goal, which is sick. And there's actually somebody that I think he's in with. I don't know. I'm not that deep in the military to know how it works. Like the group, whatever. The division. What do you call it? What's the right terminology?
Your tone is like mocking it. The division.
I'm saying it's called something and I'm ruining it, so I need to make fun of myself while I'm doing it. But the Muay Thai fighter Sikarin from Fight Society in Morgantown, I think he and Miguel are in the same infantry division group. I'll just say every word of it.
Show everyone your shirt. That thing is banging, bro.
247 in the 412. Let's go. These will be for sale on Saturday inside the Monroeville Convention Center. So if you want one, come and get one.
Get them while they're hot. They're not going to be around long.
They nice. They comfy.
Miguel's opponent, Pat Carasquillo. He is we mentioned he's lanky, long. He's also fought in the very first ever 247 fight. He got a big win. He's undefeated in the 247 cage. Both of his second ever fight and his third ever fight, I think, if I could be wrong. Second ever fight and maybe third or fourth.
Yeah.
he's undefeated in the 247 cage, and he's looking to spoil
Yeah.
Miguel's. He's not coming to Miguel's coming
no
out
way.
party. He's
No
coming
way.
into his coming out party and making his pro debut.
He's real good and slick, man. He has really nice submissions too. I think with that frame, you can catch a lot of weird chokes. We see a lot of guys with like a real lanky frame able to hit submissions from different angles that guys just flat out don't see coming normally. So it's not only an advantage standing up, which is, that's obvious for somebody with great reach, but on the ground as well, that presents a lot of unique advantages just with leverage and everything. So that's great. I love it. I think it's such a good fight on its own. Like I said, I could see that main eventing a card, honestly. I got to laugh. Dude, Will Moriarty says, Hunter, you can make that weight, 135. Yeah, 6'2", 135. Getting to 205 was a struggle, so I don't know about
Yeah, he was pretty sucked out.
I was pretty sucked out at 205, so I am not clearly built like Pat Carasquillo.
So those are the pro fights. We also have a 4-fight, I believe, 4-fight MMA card, amateur MMA card, featuring Colby Potts and Cam Smith. Both those guys are complete animals. They both are coming off of a win, and prior to that win, they had a draw that they want to settle that score.
I love that. Love their career trajectories too. Like you said, coming off a win and then the draw right before that. It's great. It's perfect timing to rematch that one.
Perfect timing. They're both ready to keep that wheel spinning, and one of them is gonna hit a roadblock.
Yeah. We got a fun question in the chat. Eli Morkide, 24. Not sure how to say your last name. Sorry, dude. But best base for MMA. What is your opinion? The best base for MMA.
I mean, I think it's wrestling.
Danny Palm.
What was that?
Sorry. The best. What do you think is the best base for MMA?
Wrestling.
I don't even think.
Why did you ask Dan?
I just wanted to hear him say it. I don't even think it's an opinion. I think it's proven at this point. Like, I mean, literally, there are statistics. Like, I saw a graph the other day about like people from a wrestling base and their average win records versus boxing, kickboxing. Like, it's not an opinion.
I mean, if you have a BJJ base, I think you're okay. There's just a different level of strength and aggression that you get from wrestling that you don't get. Like,
I think that's the most overlooked part of a wrestling base is that it's not just the wrestling skills, it's the work ethic that comes with wrestling. Yeah. You're used to working like that. So I think that's what totally changes things.
Wrestling.
Can you get tickets at the door, Anthony Burkhart? Yes, you can, my friend. But
that being said,
you should get them now because they're moving very fast, A, and B, legitimately, just logistically, they're not physical tickets. So what you're going to have to do at the door is scan a QR code and buy it on your phone and then scan that code anyway. Just save yourself the time and energy so you can just walk in.
Yeah, you can just stroll on in, get scanned, and stroll on in. You're going to have to do it outside of the Monroeville Convention Center anyway.
Yeah, so you might as well
either do it now or later. Like, you still have to do it.
Correct. So get a better seat now and secure that spot. Let's go. Yeah, dude. I mean, he said it looks like a great card. I really want to come. You should. Like, legitimately, it's not even up for debate. Just like I think best base for MMA is not up for debate. That this is our best card ever. I mean, it's not even close. Saturday in general is going to be by far the craziest day in 247 history to date. And I always say, like, Russ Green, shout out Russ Green, Go Green Windows and Construction.
Russ Green,
the man,
unbelievable,
the man, and he's not there.
He's not going to be there.
Dude. Like,
unbelievable.
One of the Mount Rushmore 247 fans, along with Gary and Stacy Scherer. Russ is up there for sure, and Jared Billy. Russ not able to make because he's on vacation.
Who schedules vacation without checking the 247 calendar?
I'll tell you who does check. Gary Lewis. He literally texted me the other day and asked when the next card would be after this because he wants to plan a vacation, but cannot miss a card. See, that's dedication right there. Russ, you are missing out, brother. Will, missing a wedding for you guys. Wow, dude. Thank you. We're honored. I hope it's not your wedding, though.
Yeah.
That would be awkward.
Awkward.
We can live stream. We can like put you in the cage and I don't know, live stream it to her. You guys can FaceTime your vows or something.
This is the new way. There's a new way.
That is the new way to do it, baby. Let's go. But yeah, dude, tickets will be available at the door. But like Ryan said, honestly, it's just more of a hassle. It really is. Like I said, you got to get the QR code on your phone or whatever device anyway to get in. So you might as well just get it.
And you're passing up the better, like the longer you take, the more back
the worse your seats get. Yep. And for the night card already, I mean, it's you're really a front row option is flat out unavailable. I think like third row still has a very small handful available, but that's as close as you're getting at this point, and it's only going to get worse.
All right, so rounding out the amateur MMA on 21.5, we have Tyler Dybert and Carlos Bolliard. We have Cameron Jenkins and Malcolm Harris and Brandon Washburn and let me try not to butcher, Rashad Jordan Maines.
Nice. Nailed them all. It's a sick card. Like I said, I love a lot of those matchups are super interesting. I think we've had, if you guys go to our previous podcast here on 247 Live or stream247live.com, get the app, get that 247 Live app.
Dude, grab that app. Device. It's awesome. I promise.
We've had almost every fighter on that 21.5 card on the podcast in the last couple of weeks. So you guys can listen to that to hear more about them. They all have really interesting stories, but more than that, I'm really proud of them, these fights as matchups. Like, it's one thing to have a good fighter represented and then he's just fighting somebody who doesn't really train or whatever like that, and you're just trying to showcase one guy. But like, legitimately, all of these fights, super even, super competitive, super interesting just stylistically. There's a lot of like high-level wrestler versus high-level wrestler. Obviously, Colby Potts and Cam Smith, we know that fight went to a draw the first time. Like, they're extremely evenly matched, so that's going to be sick. All of them, honestly, are insane. And then starting the card is what happens to start this card, Ryan? Something.
There's some new action. There's some caged Muay Thai action in the house.
People been asking for us to do Muay Thai fights for a long, long time, and it's now finally legal in Pennsylvania
to do it in the cage.
And we're running that, baby. So this 21.5 card is going to start with 3 amateur Muay Thai bouts featuring some familiar faces, some new faces. I'm excited to see the very first fight, Joao Martinez versus Logan Crow. Sick matchup, Muay Thai. Joao, you guys know him very well from 247 Fighting Championships. He's competed for us, 2 or 3 times now? 3?
Yep. And he just recently competed for stout fights as well.
Just competed for stout fights, put on a great show against Jacob Lofert. Dude, that was a great fight. I love that.
His kicks, man. He's got an arsenal.
It's cool to see head kicks allowed in AMI Muay Thai. Like, that definitely opens up a new dimension for them that you don't get to see from the AMI fighters. So I think Joao's game, I mean, let's be honest. We knew Joao was mostly a stand-up fighter anyway when he's doing MMA. Like, it's not, wrestling and grappling is clearly not his strong suit at this point in his development. He's very natural on the feet, though. So this is a chance to see him in a format where he's exclusively going to be on his feet. So that's really exciting. And then you got Sanad versus Sikarin in that middle fight. So that's Indio versus Morgantown's Fight Society. Another really sick matchup between 2 seasoned guys there. I believe it's 1-1 versus 2-2. So you've got a little more Muay Thai experience in that one. And you know, like, dude, any Indio fighter that steps in that cage is going to be super ready to go. Like, any Indio fighter, so ready to go, bro. The most ready to go. And then closing out the Muay Thai, Jesse Sidhu. We just announced this one yesterday. Jesse Sidhu from Stout PGH Fight Team versus Derek Keene from ATT Happy Valley. And one thing I like about this one is that Jesse comes in with a 4-0 record. He just won at GFC in State College. And Derek Keene in ATT Happy Valley did not hesitate, despite this being Derek Keene's debut. So, tells me that young Mr. Derek Keene is looking mighty fine in the gym and has been putting in that work for a while, because you don't see 4-0 versus 0-0 too often. And the coach, like, ATT Happy Valley has a very good, very smart, very well-organized team. they're not going to send their guy into a slaughter. So they know something that we don't know or haven't seen because he hasn't ever competed. So that one's really good. That one's real good.
These are exciting times at 247 Fighting Championships, being able to have an afternoon card, being able to introduce caged Muay Thai into the mix, and being able to have a plethora of professional and amateur fights all in one day. It's going to be a special day. These are moments you don't want to miss. Get your tickets now at 247fighting.com. They're available on Eventbrite as well, so you can go snag them there. Just search Brawl on the Burgh. You'll find them.
Yeah.
247 Fighting Championships Eventbrite page. It's on fire, bro.
Yeah, boy. Anthony Burkhardt asked what the weight classes are. It's standard MMA weight classes. If you've ever watched the UFC, our fights are the same that you'll see there: 125, 35, 45, 55, 70, 85, 205 heavyweight. And then once in a while, you'll get a catch weight that's in between.
You sounded like a auctioneer.
Auctioneer.
Yeah. 25, 35, 45.
I noticed that too. That was nice. But Sean Haney in the chat, man, I got to go on a card for y'all soon. I fought in both Ohio and Florida, but not my own city. So you're a Pittsburgh boy who's never competed in Pittsburgh, but you've gone to Ohio and Florida. Let's do it.
Wait, who's
Let's run
that?
it. Sean Haney.
Nice.
Let's run it, bro.
Hey, dude. Get in the mix. There's I go to 247fighting.com. There is a drop down that says like something like "Fight for Us," and you can fill out the correct application if you want to fight MMA, if you want to fight Muay Thai, if you want to grapple. Do the appropriate application. That's the best way to get on a radar.
Yeah, we check those sheets religiously. So when people fill something out, we're aware that you're in the system. And honestly, it's just by far the most helpful way to do it, because then we can know right away what fights a pitch for you or who you match up with, and then we can instantly get in touch with your coach and get the wheels moving. So by far those forms, like Ryan said, 247fighting.com, there's a little Fight for Us tab drop down, and then you just choose the form there and fill it out.
And we're going to be really hitting hard with the September 21st show, which is Brawl in the Burgh 23, which is going to be our big fall show, and we're super stoked, or end of summer show. It's going to be absolute fire. It is going to be in Monroeville once again. And this kind of is leading up to, us having our own venue. We already have secured the lease and all of those things. There's some construction going on to get it ready for us, and some permits and all that stuff. Taking a little longer than we'd like, but Sunny Days Arena at the venue it's going to be fire. And, I'm anticipating early 2025, potentially late 2024, but ultimately this is all leading up to us having regular and shows far more often, and different variety of shows. Like, instead of teasing us with some Muay Thai bouts, or teasing us with some kickboxing or pro kickboxing, or teasing us some grappling here and there, and we're going to be having all of those events regularly, as well as partnering with other promoters that want to have events at our venue. And it's going to be something special.
Definitely.
The venue, once you see it, wait till you,
I can't wait. I really can't wait.
The crazy thing is, day one, it's not going to look like it does year 3, right?
Sure.
But over time, we're going to, I can't wait until we can start really investing in it more, because it's going to turn into something pretty fantastic.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be pretty amazing, I think. Pretty amazing. I just got my wife, Nicole, just texted me and said the podcast is randomly staticky and skippy. So are you guys, is anybody else experiencing that, or is it her internet? Because that's not good. We don't want staticky and skippy. She said it worked itself out, but has been coming and going. Is anybody else getting that? Leave a comment if you are, because that's not great. I don't know if it's our internet here or what that could be. Why is it always technical issues? We got the equipment. We got the setup. We've done freaking 150 of these at this point. You'd think we'd have it down, but technology, baby. It's always something. It's always something. Chris Hustleton said hit and miss. So maybe some other people are getting that. I don't know If it's a cable, I don't know.
I'm not. I
know.
don't. It's got to be something over there.
Dad said Skippy, so maybe it's internet related. I don't know how that could be. That sucks.
That's hardwired, right?
I don't
It's
think.
not.
I don't think. But either way, we've never had that issue. Another guy said it's good here. Jesse said he's getting skips. All right, so a lot of people, I don't know. It's going to be tough to do live to diagnose. So we're just going to roll with it and hope it works itself
We're
out.
sorry.
Yeah, we're very sorry.
We're very sorry. But
you
guess
know
what?
Won't skip?
Mike Moran's production.
Boom. That was an alley-oop. I was hoping you would get, yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, buddy. Brawl in the Burgh, 22. So Brawl in the Burgh, 21 and a half ends, let's say around 3 o'clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
You leave, you go do something. You might just go,
just got word today, actually, that the convention center will have some things for you in the parking lot to do in between.
What that might that be? Do we know?
Beer, food,
beer and food,
probably some cornhole and such.
Some food trucks, some entertainment. So you don't even have to leave; you can stay and make it a whole day. But you could also, you'll have enough time. You could go have some dinner.
Yeah,
go home if you live close by. Grab a shower.
Oh, dude,
do some push-ups, work out.
There we go.
Come back, be there by 5:30 because doors open at 5. I'm telling you right now, if you show up at the Monroeville Convention Center at 5:45, you're not going to see the first fight. You're not.
And that would be very not smart of you. I won't say dumb. It
So
would be not smart.
Show up early because guess what? There's going to be a lot of people that show up at 6 o'clock. A lot of people. And we can't get them all in all at once. Not possible. So don't be one of those people, especially if your fighter is fighting at the beginning of the card. Don't even risk it. Just get there nice and early. 5:30, there's not much of a line usually at that point.
This one might be a different story.
Well, but ultimately, like, show up early, get in quick, and don't have to worry about missing the fights. Now, if you're mainly coming to watch Kama and you don't know anyone else, not a big deal to show up a little late. Show up at 6.
Yeah,
you're gonna miss the first fight. You won't miss Kama, not even close. Like, it's gonna be a long night of fights. There's 9 professional fights, so it's gonna take some time to get through all those. 4 amateur fights. Gonna be a blast, but I'm just, I feel bad when people miss fights, but don't show up. Do not show up at 6 o'clock expecting to be in there in your seat at 6:05.
Mm-hmm. I will say Monroeville has a pretty good workflow for getting in. Usually it's very smooth, but there's no sense in pushing it. One thing I will note, that parking lot is going to fill up and you're going to need to find parking. There's a lot around the area, but you're going to have a little walk. Parking,
there's plenty of parking. But think about like the stadium or the arena, like downtown. You have to walk to get there a lot of times. Yeah. You're not parking right next to it.
Yeah.
That parking lot in Monroeville, honestly, it's going to be full all day
for sure.
Like, you're not parking in that lot unless you're like staff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're there super friggin' early.
Yeah. So plan for that. Plan your day out. Be smart. Don't miss fights. That's really what it comes down to. You don't want to miss that action, baby. You're paying for the ticket. You might as well see the whole show. Anthony Burkhart heard Conor McGregor's going to be there. That is actually why he's not fighting Michael Chandler that night.
We were supposed to wait till Friday.
It was going to be a big announcement on Friday, but now you guys know.
Let's just get your tickets. Trust me, you want to get tickets.
Conor McGregor versus Ethan Goss, 145 title fight. It is what it is, guys. It's happening.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Do we want to start at the bottom to work their way to the top?
Dude, I don't even know how to talk about this card. It's going to take 6 hours to properly break it down.
So here's what we're going to do. We're due to time constraints, we have 13 fights to cover. We're going to breeze over the amateur fights, and we're just going to focus on the pro fights.
But I do want to note these amateur fights are absolute banger. It is literally strictly due to time constraints. And I'm just going to lead us off by talking about kind of what is the de facto amateur main event. There's one advanced amateur bout here, and it is Noah Kiska versus Gabe Urett. And dude, 7-0 versus 4-0, like complete stud versus complete stud. Gabe Urett is not only the #1 fighter in Indiana per Tapology, he's the #1 fighter in the Midwest region at 145.
I refer to him as Tag.
Tag Urett, also maybe the best fighter nickname ever. Gabe Tag Urett. Although if there's a
one
contender.
that's
There's a
there's one that's right up there.
we'll keep it PG, but there's a real good one.
I think they have to fight for best
I think so too.
nickname ever.
But that fight, I mean, it's quite literally as good as an amateur fight can get. They're both going pro. They're both going pro very soon. And that fight is just stud versus stud, dude. Whoever wins that, their stock is going completely through the roof, and it's going to make their pro debut like extremely hyped. So do not sleep on that one. Do not sleep on that one. And then right in, when you're starting with Hope Chase in the pro, she's the first pro fight of the night. Insane. Again, Hope Chase versus Elizabeth Schroeder.
Wait, I was gonna name all of the amateur fights, rattle through them. Just
all right. Give them their due.
No, go ahead. You were gonna pronounce them correctly, and I could really. Okay, I'll do Tyler Cavelli and Bryce De Leon. Really looking forward to that bout. Joseph Perry and Javane Baker.
Nice.
And then you got to do.
You're good. You're good. Selena Brown versus Zoe Eros. I'm not sure how you say her actual last name.
See, that's the part I was avoiding.
See, you just say it with confidence. You just lie it through it with confidence, and just
unbelievable.
Just skate right through it like a pro, baby.
Folks, there are 4 great amateur fights headlined by the undefeated versus the undefeated 4-0 versus 7-0. We're super stoked for that. Let's talk about the pro fights.
Hope Chase versus Elizabeth Schroeder. We've been wanting Hope in our cage for a very long time. Obviously, anybody in the Pittsburgh area, particularly in the female MMA landscape, we talk about it a lot on the podcast, but female MMA does not have the depth that male MMA does for very obvious reasons. There's just not as many women interested in punching each other in the face as there are men. Makes perfect sense. But Hope and her sister Bridget have been around and made a name for themselves in the scene. They're very well known in the combat sports community locally. So the opportunity to work with not just one of them, but both of them on the same card, super insane, super honored on our end to be able to showcase that. I mean, literally 2 of the best female pro fighters that Pittsburgh's ever seen, and they're sisters, and they train at Indio Dojo, and they're on the same card. Pretty much as ideal as it gets.
And they have elite level karate backgrounds, and they are just very special in their intensity and in their demeanor and in the way they very respectful in the way they present themselves. And it's a whole different level of intensity. Folks, if you've never seen people that are intense, you're going to want to see the weigh-ins, because the Chase sisters are some of the most intense people I've ever met in my life.
It's insane. Like
John DeJesus is pretty intense too.
John's way up there. Yeah, for sure. There's guys that hit different level. Patton stare downs.
Amateur Patton
stare downs.
Patton as an amateur he has a different level of intensity.
Dude, there one that stands out for me, James Padmore, always like hits a different level at weigh-ins. He's like super nice guy, super friendly any other time, but at weigh-ins and fight night, different guy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You guys need to host a championship fight. We do. We have title fights all the time, brother. We do title fights when they're appropriate and when they're very warranted. One
of the things we're very conscious of is we don't throw around belts lightly. And to others that use belts more often, like, so be it. We've made the decision that when you fight for a belt for 247, it's very weighted. Mm-hmm. And we've invested a lot of money in our belts. And we feel that it should be something that is people should take great pride in winning them.
Totally.
We just reinvested in new belts, and so we're super excited. We love championship fights, but we don't use those as a way to maybe market,
right?
Just for the sake of having championship bouts.
Yep. But then when you get a fight like Cam versus Seabird or Hoot versus Eddie, that is a title fight in every way, it definitely adds that sprinkle on top.
For
It's
sure.
special. Yeah,
it's special.
Yeah, and especially at the pro level, and this card being so pro heavy, like a 247 title at the pro level to us means you're ready for the UFC. Like that's what we're saying when you become champion at the pro level. Kama Worthy was the first ever 247 pro champ, went to the UFC. DeJesus pro champ went to Bellator. Ethan Goss, for some reason, nobody wants him yet, but he's the champ right now, 45 and 55. Get him out of here, dude. We're tired of working with Ethan Goss. Take him, UFC. Take him.
He's ready. He's ready. Time to hey, he's coming off of a little bit of an injury. Was it this card he was gonna be on, or
I think it was April. It was April, right?
Okay. So we're looking forward to him being in a position to be able to take a fight again. Not sure if that'll be in September or after that, but that brings up, like, for instance, Justin Patton. He's someone that, is someone we consider giving a title shot to, but he's in the same division as the champion. And so those two are buddies. They're, they train a lot together. That situation will have to settle itself out over time. Like, we would love for Justin Patton to be, a champion here as well, or at least to get a chance to fight for a title. But that would be the fight on this card that could potentially be a title fight. And Noah Kitska and Gabe Urich would also, however, there's not a history. We don't, like I said, when guys compete for us, that's how they earn title shots and things like that. So we'd love for any one of those guys to eventually be a champion for us.
Absolutely. So that's the long answer to your question about championship fights. I like that we went into that, though, because that's like the really interesting aspect. I am still a fan of MMA, but like knowing what goes into the decisions is always very interesting to me. Like, why is this that? Why would they do it this way? And what I've learned now, dude, I've been working for you for 3 years now with 247. That's crazy. By the way, over the course of this 3 years, is that everything's very intentional. At least with 247. I'm not going to speak for other promotions, but the way we do things is very intentional. So,
and nothing just gets done without a discussion. Like, we're strategic with everything we do.
Yeah, 100%. So strategic with this night card being absolutely loaded with pro fights. We talked about Hope and Lil Bruzy, Elizabeth Schroeder, which shout out Elizabeth Schroeder and that whole Elevate team. I talked about Nico earlier, but she's also a part of that machine that they're coming up from North Carolina, ready to cause some ruckus in Pennsylvania. And she's a crazy talented fighter with a lot of support. I've seen a lot of posts for her, a lot of people tagging her, tagging us in stories about her, being hyped to watch her fight. So she's definitely bringing a crew with her too. That's going to be Hope versus Schroeder, man. That is some super fine matchmaking, and I am super stoked to see it.
Super good analysis there, Super Hunter.
Superstar.
We have Tom Kaiser and Dalton Jones, which is going to be an absolute lightweight war. Tom Kaiser, I feel like, seeing Tom Kaiser as a lightweight now, it's I thought he was a big 70 and now he's a lightweight.
Yeah, and working with Isaac in the Mat Factory, man, you got to trust the process with that. You got to trust that they're going to make it without issue, that they know he'll be fine. But I'm right with you. He's super muscular. He's just a very big dude naturally. And imagining him like 70 to 55 is not a small drop. We're talking 15 pounds there. So, I mean, he's going to make it. I'm sure he will. And I'm sure it'll be for the best. But I'm with you. It's hard to imagine him at 55, but we're about to. And against Dalton Jones from Harrisburg, who, by the way, another one, shout out to the Moose and Nico category of not exactly local Pittsburgh guys that just have been selling like crazy and bringing an army. So Dalton's bringing like all of Harrisburg with him, it seems.
It's awesome. It's awesome seeing that
Yeah.
kind of support. Way to rally your troops for this bout in Pittsburgh, man. We love seeing it.
1,000,000%. There's a real chance that Dalton will be like the fan favorite in arena that night, which would be weird. Like for the blue corner to have a bigger cheering section. That would be interesting to see. We got a question that I'm going to go ahead and address because I'm sure he's not the only guy. Jadson Costa Jiu-Jitsu. What age is the oldest fighter from you guys? I'm not sure who our oldest competitor has been, but I will note that in the state of Pennsylvania, once you get above 36, some additional
37, I think.
Is it 37 now? Oh, geez.
I think so.
Well, I messed it up. Once you get 36, 37, or 38, some additional testing and medical requirements do kick in. So you can still compete. It's not saying you can't, but it does become a little more difficult when you get to that age. That said, for our grappling events, there's really no age restriction or limit. We're not going to match a 50-year-old against a 25-year-old savage, but it's a little more lenient. But to fight MMA or kickboxing or Muay Thai, once you get 37-ish range, it becomes a little more difficult. So, who's the oldest competitor we've ever had?
Ever?
I don't know.
I mean, for MMA,
yeah, not counting.
it might be Kama.
Might be, definitely might be. I can't think it. Yeah, probably is. Have we ever had to have somebody do the neuro and everything, the additional medicals?
Yeah.
For age reasons, not like clearance reasons.
We had people that wanted to debut amateur that were older.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ended up happening or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't think of anyone older than Kama, is what I'm trying to say. I can't even think of a human
he said it
older than Kama.
Well, you want me to get a mirror? A mirror.
Oh, so I want to just give a little shout out here today. So Kama's wife, Nicole Worthy, who is my best friend in the whole wide world. So we when you're at the show, you're gonna see a canvas in the cage. And when we got the new cage, we have a cloth canvas now. It's not like the old
vinyl screen printed, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can't like put stickers on there for like the logos, like all the logos that go on the. So like what the UFC has to do and what we do now is you have to hand paint the logos for the sponsors on the canvas. And so that takes a lot of skill and time and effort and energy. And bro,
sick.
Nicole Worthy hand painted all of the logos on the canvas for this show. And so it was her first time doing it. It looks phenomenal. I'm super stoked. So just whenever you're looking inside the cage and you see the painting, if it doesn't look perfect, let Kama know and speak up to him. Tell him what's up.
Tell him to his face. It's a good idea. Actually, tell Shaka to tell Kama.
Yeah. I told Kama. But huge shout out. She did such a fantastic job. I know it was a tedious venture. We hadn't done this before. We had it outsourced before, but we wanted to try it and see what it was like. And that was her first time doing it. And she had to do a bunch of research to figure out, how do I do it? What kind of paint do I use? What do I add to it? How do I get the colors right? How do I get it? How many layers do I need? All those crazy things.
And she crushed it.
She crushed it.
Yeah. Big Cheese, Jaden Blake in here. What's up, dude? When are you coming back? It's about time for a Big Cheese return, I feel like. Let's go, dude. We got to jump back to this card. We're going to be here until 6 p.m. If we don't.
We're going to run through it.
Yeah.
We have no time for the main event.
None. You guys know Kama's fighting Austin Tweedy in pro kickboxing fight. It is what it is.
No, we're just kidding. Bronco Busick and Raiden Kovacs, both are 247 vets. Both are complete animals. And one thing you'll notice is this is our David versus Goliath bout. Broncos usually in the 185-205 range, and he's fighting up to heavyweight to fight Raiden Kovacs, and Raiden's all of heavyweight. He's not like one of those 240 guys. He's I have to cut to make 265. So this is a complete David versus Goliath. Gonna be awesome.
I'm not the biggest dude, but I'm bigger than most dudes. And normally people don't make me feel small. Raiden makes me feel very small when I'm near him. I'm like, dude,
shake his hand.
You're a different species. We are not the same for sure.
Yeah.
And Bronco going up, he just competed at 205, going up to heavyweight. This is where I'll encourage everybody to go to our Instagram and find a reel of a story Bronco told about this. I'm not going to retell it. I want you guys to go find this Bronco reel. It's the thumbnail has Josh Visoki and Bronco Busick with a McDonald's behind them. So go find that reel and enjoy it. I'm not going to retell it.
It's awesome.
Way worth it. Broncos mentality about this fight. So freaking good. Mint.
Then we have Chris Akala versus Musa Al-Sulami.
Nice.
Did I do it?
It sounded like you ordered a salami sandwich, but it's all right.
if I stare at it and sound it out, maybe I can get it, but like just rattling it off ain't gonna happen.
No, it's tough. Just call him Moose. You know what I mean? Just
Moose.
I
had to try. I had to butcher. So that is a huge welterweight bout. Moose is 0-1 as a pro. He had a short amateur career and turned pro and started off with a loss. We hear great things about him. Chris Akala, you're gonna have to fill me in.
Law MMA. I mean, you talk about Longo Weidman as a school in general. You know what you're getting there.
Yeah, and he picked up a huge pro win against Kenyon Moore at Maverick.
That's a good win. We know Kenyon well.
Yeah, we know Kenyon. Kenyon's a 247 vet, so we're excited to see, Chris in the 247 cage. Moose, by the way, has really impressed me with his ticket sales. Like those, they just keep. I thought he was done, right? And then there's more to come in.
Keeps rolling.
Great job. Keep pushing. Great job, guys. We're gonna have a great crowd because everyone's contributing.
Yeah. Danilo says, "Hey, girls."
Danilo
just sliding in there. That Danilo Villafort action.
Then we have Nico Pet Rides. Nico Petrides versus Brogan Andras.
Nice. Nailed it. Stuck the landing.
Another great bout. Both these guys have a lot of skill and talent. Brogan is very active. He has, I think, this will be, I believe his 6th pro fight after a illustrious amateur career. And Nico has fought for our friends over at Made Men and Angelo said, "Hey, you should get this guy a bout," and we would love to.
Yep, he's a Steubenville, Ohio boy, which is not far at all from Monroeville. So he's bringing that hometown crowd for sure. But Brogan, by the way, selling tickets too. I mean, we don't expect people from Ohio to really sell tickets. Like, we expect you to be the blue corner and we're going to match you with somebody local. But every once in a while, a blue corner will just surprise us.
Show up.
They'll do it. And Brogan's doing that right now. So he's going to have a strong cheering section too.
And this is the interesting thing about this card is you mentioned it earlier. Like, I think you mentioned it during the Dalton Jones, Tom Kaiser. There are a lot of guys that are supposed to be blue corners that are selling tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be an interesting dynamic, like who has the best support in the arena, because that matters and that feels good. And when you can come into like enemy territory and represent and have a cheering squad and be backed, like it's motivating, and you can come in and take someone's hometown away from them.
For sure. And I want to point out for people who are maybe like starting to understand the red corner, blue corner dynamic a little better, Indio is all blue corner. That's not because they're not the local gym. It's a logistical issue. So like we talked about earlier, learning kind of the peek behind the curtains and why things are intentional. But when you have a red and a blue corner, you want them all in the same locker room to warm up together. You want teammates with teammates in the locker room. creates a problem when there's an Indio versus Academy fight on this card with Covelli and Bryce De Leon. So that's Indio versus Academy. Now we have Kama in the main event. Obviously, he's going to be red corner. So now we want to keep his teammate Covelli in the locker room with him. So now Academy becomes red corner. So by default, Indio has to become blue corner to keep them all together. So that's why that is.
And the higher, like, kind of the hierarchy of it is, like, the higher up on the card you are, like, you kind of you get preference, right? So because Kama's the main event, Kama determines that role.
Honestly, I don't even know how much the fighters care about that.
Nobody
but it matters
cares.
to us. Like, I like when it works out nicely and like there's a reason behind it.
Sure.
So it might just be for us. But
As
it's
long-
still cool to know.
As long as you're happy, Hunter.
That's really what life's all about.
They call
My
him Happy
happiness.
Hunter. Taylor Cahill makes the return to the 247 cage after a long absence versus Marcus Williamson.
Lights out, Williamson, son.
Marcus is making his pro MMA debut after debuting at Bare Knuckle recently as a pro. And Taylor Cahill is making his long-awaited return to the 247 cage. This will be his first time in the new 24-foot cage. But these are both guys that are experienced in the 247 atmosphere.
Universe. Yeah, the long-awaited return of Taylor, not just to 247, but to the United States since turning pro, let alone local, but just U.S. in general. He's had 2 pro fights, one in Canada and one in Brazil. So he's coming home, but actually home locally. We all know the kind of crowd that Taylor brings. So he's going to have a rowdy cheering section, and Marcus, a Pittsburgh boy as well. I mean, just another complete banger of a matchup.
You know, knowing Taylor Cahill, I know how important it is for him to have the support of his hometown of Somerset County and those people. And so I'm excited to see Somerset County back at the Monroeville Convention Center in full force, because there were some pretty memorable moments when Taylor Cahill fought for us prior with the support that he brought with him. And so I know it means a lot to Taylor, that support, and I'm excited to see that again.
Definitely. And we've talked about 6 pro fights so far, some AMI fights, the whole BitB 21.5 card. We still have 3 pro fights, and they're the top 3 on this card. I mean, to illustrate how stacked it is, like, if you just listen to what we've talked about so far, normally the card would be way over by now. Like, we'd be totally done.
We do have the gift of gab, though.
We do have that.
Yeah.
But in terms of just the talent level, the skill level, how stacked this is, this many pro fights. I mean, normally we have, 3 pro fights a card, 3 or 4. Like, that's an average.
Sometimes 1 or 2.
Sometimes 1 or 2.
I mean, it doesn't go above 4.
It certainly doesn't double plus 1 4 like this. Insane. So the co-main event, which could easily be a main event on literally any other card of ours. Bridget Chase, the other half of the Chase sisters we were talking about, versus Gabrielle Holloway. By the way, Gabrielle Holloway, you know, we're going to talk about Bridget obviously too, but here's what I want you to know about Holloway. Never been knocked out, never been submitted. She has fought some names such as Chris Cyborg, Kat Zingano. Who else? There's one more like big one that I just totally blanked on. Julia Budd. That's it. And Alexis Dufresne. There's her, literally, like, she's fought the best of women's MMA. Never been knocked out, never been submitted. So,
and she beat Alexis
Dufresne. Ridiculous. So super tough, crazy good wrestling background. I believe she's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu on top of that, but also her boxing, obviously, to last with Chris Cyborg. You're not getting out of that cage alive without having some boxing skills. So she's crazy tough. But Bridget, on the other hand, everything we said about Hope directly applies to Bridget. They're great X factor that Ryan touched on, but that I just want to expand upon real quickly. The great X factor of the Chase sisters is their intensity and how seriously they take competition, how seasoned they are in a competitive environment. It's just a different level, man. If there's something that's going to overcome Holloway's insane experience and just her well-rounded background and toughness, it is Bridget Chase's explosiveness and competitive mindset. Like, that's the kind of thing that can overcome that. So I'm crazy excited about that matchup in general. Let's go.
The second one.
Nice. Okay.
We're insured.
We're good. we got insurance, guys. We're all good. The card's happening. And after that fight, we've got both Chase sisters in the books at this point of the night. You've seen
Wait, this is
Moose.
super incredible.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, you haven't even had the two superstars, the biggest superstars in Pittsburgh MMA, possibly history. Well, there's some
might be a stretch.
There's some
superstars. We might be stretching there.
There's some guys, but two of the top dogs, you haven't even had them yet. You've already had the Chase sisters both fight. Taylor Cahill, Marcus Williamson, Moose. Like, it's crazy. We haven't even had the top of the card yet.
And what a top it is. Co-main event. Justin, the General Patton. If you guys have ever been to a Justin Patton fight, you already know what the General's Army is all about. Out in full force. The most momentum, I would say, I'm willing to throw it out there, most momentum of any fighter in the Pittsburgh area right now is Justin Patton. The wins he's coming off of, specifically that last one over Martin Hustis, just a complete, potentially career-defining win for him. If he goes out there and does something similar to Tobias Taylor, who we know, no easy task. Ethan Goss went the distance with him, and it was a razor-close decision. Tobias had some serious moments in that fight. His stand-up is super fast.
He actually,
super strong.
He almost knocked Ethan Goss out.
For sure.
I mean, it was pretty close.
It was
as close to being knocked out as a human being possibly can be. Ethan Goss was nearly incapacitated. I think he was close to death at that point.
He was hanging by a thread.
No, that's literally me just giving Ethan Goss shit.
Yeah. But in reality, not to diminish, because Tobias really did.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we're not.
I mean, Ethan will say, I was totally fine. Like, whatever.
We saw it, bro. We saw it. Okay. We know what happened. But Tobias has some really sneaky stand-up. Another crazy seasoned vet, obviously competed for the 247 title, as we're talking about, versus Goss. So he's been a part of the 247 environment, the big crowd, the big stage. He's a freaking gamer, man. He's going to be ready to go. He's not intimidated at all by Justin Patton's crowd, guarantee you that, or Justin Patton as a fighter, because he's already seen it all.
I think he walked out in a Browns jersey for the title fight.
He did. He walked out. I think it was Odell, an Odell Browns jersey.
That would have been like
That's a move,
effective,
dude.
like 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. There's
it
not
didn't
much
get the it's just not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be. But
if you guys could win, Len, like, that might cause some. I would literally, like, recent rivalry, I would probably put them last of the three.
No, I definitely agree. Easily. Except that they did beat us in the playoffs.
I mean, I just don't care as much. Like,
no, totally. I'm right with you. I just think it's great that, like, the Browns finally have a truly generational talent in Myles Garrett. Like, he's truly amazing. And the Steelers have somebody better at that same position. It's like you can't even have that. You can't even have that.
You don't even get that.
But he's taken on Justin Patton, who, like we said, coming off massive back-to-back wins over Chris Olave and the most recent one, Martin Hustis. I'm not saying it's in the books because there's a lot of fights left this year, but man, that is a prime blue chip contender for both fight of the year and knockout of the year back in April. So Justin's making a quick turnaround against a super tough Tobias Taylor, who very compact, very powerful, very explosive. It's a different kind of challenge for Justin Patton, which I know he and his team, the Matt Factory and Chris Williams, I know they all love a challenge, and that's what they want. That's what they got, baby. This co-main event is completely just out of control, bonkers good. Would be the main event on 9 out of 10 247 cards. However, this one has something else at the top.
Something special. Folks, professional kickboxing comes to the cage and comes to Pittsburgh in the form of the Death Star Worthy versus
Austin Tweety.
Do you know his nickname?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Need to do my better research. Just ruin the promo. Restart it. Let's run it back. No, I'm not running it back. We need Luke Payson in here to do the intros. He never messes up the intros. Ever.
why?
Wait, Austin has a really good nickname, doesn't he? Is it Gabe Tag Urich quality?
No, it's the Flash, bro.
Oh, geez, he's the Flash 155 on Instagram. See, I know their Instagram handles from tagging them and everything.
Well, then you would think it would just.
you would think it would be right there. The Flash.
Okay, let's try this again.
I'm not doing it again.
Something special. Oh, you can't be laughing over it. Something special. I'm telling you right now, something special is coming to Pittsburgh. It's the main event of Brawl in the Burgh 22 in the form of live kickboxing, professional kickboxing in the 247 cage. Common the Death Star Worthy versus
Austin, the Flash, Tweety.
Okay, now I always wonder, when you see a nickname, like sometimes it could be like the Flash, Austin Tweety.
That actually sounds good too. Could go either way.
It could.
What is it, Austin? If you're watching, or if any of your boys are watching,
I'm excited. You know who I'm excited? Austin. What are you doing?
Just sniffing into the mic, just doing some Joe Biden stuff.
I gotta check something real quick.
All right, Ryan's doing research. I'm going to talk about why this fight rules. Obviously, Worthy was originally scheduled to face Chris Rollins, and that fight was insane. MMA fight. Love everything about that matchup. Unfortunately, Chris suffered an injury, was in an accident, cannot compete. So that sent us scrambling this past weekend to find a replacement. Ryan found Austin Tweety. You got to love that, because this dude's 11-4. He's a Contender Series vet. He's undefeated in Muay Thai and kickboxing. Super, super stand-up threat. And Kama is going to be way down for a purely stand-up fight. So I know we talked about it at the very start of the show, but Kama basically only wants to strike anyway. So we're throwing him into a pro kickboxing fight in his realm, in his city, against a dude who literally is here to make a statement and upset the crowd, and very excited to do so. So I love somebody coming in with the mentality, just like Tobias, just like Gabrielle Holloway, I'm sure, just like Elizabeth Schroeder. They're coming in to silence these people who they know are the hometown, just like Nathaniel Grubham. They know are the hometown favorites, going to be drawing a big crowd. And dude, trust me, Austin Tweety wants to be able to say he knocked out a UFC veteran, like, period. He wants that on his resume, and he's got the opportunity to do that. So that's Saturday night, BIP 22 main event, Worthy, Austin Tweety. That's what's at stake. You love it.
There's a lot of cool things, connecting us to our roots, our original. So we had Steel Town Throwdown. We already talked about Pat Carasquillo. He's on the card. He was on that card. He was the first ever fight. One of our first ever pro fight was Brett Schoenfeld versus Dustin Parrish. Dustin Parrish will be in the corner of Austin Tweety.
That is sick.
So he'll be back, and he hasn't been back since our first show ever. So
insane.
He'll be able to be back. I think Pat has been back several times since that first show. I think he cornered
Derek Patterson.
Yep. Yeah. So he's been to, he's seen the 247. We're not the same organization we were when we were at Princegate starting out, but
we're not the same we were with Derek Patterson and Patton fight either. So that's exciting. Like, we've grown even since then, which honestly, that wasn't super recent. It feels recent, but that does feel recent. It moves very fast.
Was that
BIP 12?
Well, that was our first
casino show.
Meadows.
Was it
Messino's casino show?
Was that 16?
Oh, maybe it was 16. The Goss Harbaugh Goss Harbaugh card. Why is that Harbaugh card? Hard for me to say for some reason. But yeah, that was 16. Danny Paul's right. I think Justin fought Naez at 12. Yeah, there we go. Got them mixed up. But yeah, I mean, guys, 9 pro fights, 4 amateur fights. one of the best amateur fights on paper in 247 history, and I fully expect those guys to deliver on that with Gabe Urett and Noah Kiska. I mean, I said it already. It's literally as high level as amateur can get before they're just pros. Like, it's a pro level fight that is happening at amateur, so that's sick. And then the Chase sisters, Bronco versus Raiden, the sleeper for me. Let's do that. Let's pick our fight of the night overall. Both cards included in the mix. Dude, good luck. Good luck picking just one, but we're gonna do it. Danny Palm, fight of the night. Both cards combined. Let's also be very clear.
But each card, you mean, not both cards combined?
No, dude, I'm talking combined. Which fight on Saturday is going to? Okay, we'll do each card just to give each card a little hype. But to be clear about fight of the night, you guys who follow the UFC, watch MMA, it doesn't necessarily mean like the best knockout. It means the best fight, back and forth, probably goes the distance or is like a late finish. But like each guy has his moments.
Each guy has his moments.
Yeah.
It could even be a second round. We've had ones that were a second round, but like it was so much back and forth that
like
it was
Patton
like
Justice.
so
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. All right. So who we got?
First.
Danny Palm. You got to lead us off strong.
All right, so we're doing one for each.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so for 21.5, I'm picking Miguel versus Pat,
Nice.
and for 22, I'm picking Patton versus Tobias.
Oh, those, I mean, very strong picks, very reasonable picks. One thing, since Pat is in the chat, I want to ask him, how do we pronounce your last name, dude? I want to get this right. Is it Carasquillo or is it more like Carrasquillo?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Carasquillo.
Okay. Well, we're going to let him decide.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is.
You going next?
I think there was this conversation like back in the day,
the first time
when he was fighting for us. Like he fought for us 2 shows in a row, I think, or at least 2.
we should know it by now.
Very early.
All right.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if he took one of mine, do I have to pick a new one?
No.
Okay,
Be honest.
Miguel and Pat was my 21.5 for sure. I think fight of the night. Oh man, it's so ridiculous. This 22 card with this many pro fights. I mean,
it's so hard to pick one out
so
of those,
hard.
dude.
He said that Hunter got it right.
Boom. It's Carrasquillo.
Are you
You
serious?
gotta drop those L's, bro. Get a little. You see what I'm saying?
Carrasquillo.
Get a little Latin influence in you.
Carrasquillo.
Carrasquillo.
Dude, I've been pronouncing it wrong.
And he's just been letting it happen. What a nice
Bro.
guy. He's just been letting us say those L's.
Dude, don't let me get away with that.
Now
You
we're
gotta
taking
smack
our
me
L's.
around at weigh-ins.
Dude.
All right.
He's not.
Didn't that happen before? Someone said something to Ryan about pronouncing their name wrong.
Wasn't it Harbaugh?
Yeah.
I thought it,
That
how'd
was
you say
after.
it,
That
though?
was no, because we were broadcasting live. And I like slip of tongue, like was like hard, but like I don't.
weigh-ins,
That was. It was the live way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then we got.
Wouldn't be the
beat up.
first fighter that wants to smack Ryan at weigh-ins, to be fair.
All right. I think. Okay, I'm picking one. Bridget and Gabrielle Holloway.
Nice. I mean,
That's a good pick.
you guys are. It's like you said. There's no wrong answer on either card because there's so many. But for me, 21.5, I have a different one than you two. I think Cam Jenkins versus Malcolm Harris has just complete firework. It's just 2 athletic studs that are good standing and incredible wrestling. It just adds up to where no matter where that fight goes, both guys are going to be extremely well equipped to either reverse or take advantage of. Like, I just have complete no idea what's going to happen in that one, but they're both so athletic and explosive that I have a strong feeling that one's going to be very, very exciting. And then for the night card, dude, I'm going with Bronco and Raiden easily. For me, easily. The narrative behind it of just this old school, almost open weight feel to it makes it super fun. Bronco, I think, is just too tough to go down easy. Like, if people think, oh, well, Raiden's just way too big. I don't know, man. I don't see Bronco just letting that happen because of he's too experienced to know. He's trained with too many people to know that this isn't going to be a problem with him, in my opinion. Like, he has to know something about what happens when he goes with guys this big. I guarantee you he's trained with them, guarantee you he's worked with them. It's not going to be like new to him. So he knows something there. He would have never taken it, I don't think, if he didn't think he had a very real chance.
He was like seeking this fight.
Exactly.
So weird.
Exactly. Now, on the flip side, Raiden is, like we said, a literal giant like, and very skilled and only getting better. Like, even just physically, if you look the first time he fought for us as an amateur versus how he looked just physically against Cam Kinzig, his body is like, he's still clearly getting more athletic, adding more muscle, leaning out. His frame is just dumb. Like, he's so big. So that's going to be a problem.
And he's coming off a big
win.
A big win at Shogun Fights earlier this year. So I think that he has momentum, and Bronco coming off a big upset win. In our opinion, if there were betting lines, I'm telling you that was an upset. But we also saw like what Bronco at his best is, and it's pretty darn good.
Yes, super talented and slick guy. So I'm crazy excited for that one. Like I said, I love the kind of open weight feel of it. Crazy fun. That one just rules so hard. But I'm literally, excuse me, man, this freaking Coke Zero just making me burp all over the podcast. No more Coke Zero.
You piggy.
I'm just looking at this full Brawl in the Burgh 22 card, which, if you guys have not seen the full matchup graphic, we just posted it today on Instagram, Facebook. So you can check that out there for the full lineups of both cards. But I'm just looking at it and like, well, fight of the night could easily be Moose and Alcala, could easily be Nico and Brogan, could easily be like literally every matchup. I'm looking at it and can make a case in my head for why that's going to be fight of the night. So I don't know what's going to happen, dude. All I know is that both cards are totally sick. And if you care about combat sports, literally at all, if there's any part of your being that says, I think I would like to watch a fight in person, you got to be there Saturday. It's the plate. It's going to be insane. The talent level, it's unmatched with anything we've ever done. And I've been very proud of our past cards. I've been very, very proud of a lot of our past cards and never thought we could outdo them. This one outdoes them all, period.
The wait is over. If you have not bought tickets to June 29th, Brawl in the Burgh 21.5 or 21.5, and Brawl in the Burgh 22, now is the time. Stop delaying. Your seats are getting further and further back. The action is getting further and further away from you. It's time to take control of your life and make it better by purchasing Brawl in the Burgh 21.5 and Brawl in the Burgh 22 tickets. Stop wasting time and having worse seats.
Love it. Sick promo from the man Ryan Middleton. We appreciate you guys sticking around. I know this podcast kind of went a little long. We're a little over an hour and a half now. But how else can you talk about Saturday's lineup without? I felt like we went really fast through it, to be honest.
I know.
Like we could easily go another hour and a half.
And we minimized our like normal BS banter.
For sure. But that's just what kind of night it is. Saturday's so stacked. One thing I do want to note, Ryan talking about getting tickets, give them 247fighting.com. Buy them for the right event. They are separate events. If you buy a ticket to 21.5 and think you're getting into 22 at night, you're not going to be able to. It's a QR code. It's not like we're going to be out to get you or anything. It's just literally you're not going to be able to scan in. It's going to recognize that it's not the right event. So,
and also like if you're when you're in at 21.5, everyone has to leave. Like we're locking the doors, everyone's out, like, and everyone comes. It's a whole new event. Yep. So there's no like sticking around. We're gonna find you in the bathroom. We will hunt you down. You can't hide.
Who's on bathroom search duty, dude? That's
Jesse.
Yeah, let's go, Jesse Acton. Get him out. Get him out, son. Dude, it's gonna be a completely bonkers night. Another note: 21.5 tickets being an afternoon show. They are cheaper. It's like a matinee at a movie theater. It's a little cheaper pricing for those tickets. So if you're kind of on the fence of going one or the other, or the budget's super tight, we totally understand all those concerns. So if you just want to get the cheapest ticket possible to come see us, that's 21.5. But I say,
get them both.
Get them both, baby, because you're going to be upset.
It's going to be a whole day and night. And then here's the other thing. There's no more Conor McGregor. Conor
Yeah.
McGregor and Michael Chandler, neither one of them are fighting on UFC 303. Not happening. That's not an excuse. We will be out in time for you to see the best. If you want to go to Buffalo Wild Wings after or whatever, you can go right down the street and catch the end of the UFC, catch those main events, co-main event, all that stuff. You will not be too late for that.
In fact, if you go to BitB 21.5 and then BitB 22 and then still have time to catch, like you said, the end, which you absolutely will catch, the main event, the co-main event, and probably even whatever's before that, it's going to be the best day of MMA of your life. Like literally start to finish, you're going to be just flooded with MMA. It's going to be the best day of your life. That's how you should do it.
Here's the great part about our job, and I mean this with all of my heart. When people leave our events, they leave very happy.
Yeah,
they
truly.
leave smiling, and I mean, save for the occasional like main event, like the hometown guy loses, right?
Yeah,
that's been once or twice, but people feel like they were at a great show. They had a great time. It's a great atmosphere, and you know, we're very proud of that. When there's nobody that complains, oh, like it wasn't great, like we had to wait. Like we try to be buttoned up. We try to start on time. That's why I tell you, don't arrive at 6 o'clock and expect to see the first fight, because we're going to start rolling at 6 o'clock, and we've already done the national anthem at that point. We literally promo video and Drew's introducing the first fighters, and that's how we roll.
Yeah, we move fast. Once it's on, man. We're getting through it, and it's going to be an awesome production. I can't wait to see just the way the crowd's going to interact, the way everything's coming together is super sick. Nicole Worthy in here says it's like a fight festival. How perfect. That's literally what it is. It's an all-day fight festival.
And she is now a huge part of that all coming together, because as we were saying earlier, I don't know if she was listening at the time, but we were talking about how Nicole Worthy, you know, was responsible for the canvas and the beautiful painting and all the logos on it. So huge shout out. I gave you a shout out earlier, but you know, since you chimed in, we shout you out again.
Yeah, Josh Pereira in the chat coming up, another immortal martial arts absolute savage. Had him scheduled and on weight, ready to fight for us once, but unfortunately his fight fell through at weigh-in, so that was sad, and we've still never had the chance to work with him, but I would love it. I would love that opportunity.
He's cornering this weekend.
Should be cornering this weekend, absolutely. And then his cousin Alex Pereira fights that night for UFC 303. They're not cousins at all, I don't think. I think it's even spelled a little differently. I think Josh has 2 R's in his last name. But anyway, Saturday, June 29th, Monroeville Convention Center. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a truly historic day for combat sports in Pittsburgh. An event of this magnitude, back-to-back, never happened in the city. It's going to be something special.
We're super stoked. We wanted you to be there with us to enjoy a bit of Pittsburgh MMA history in the sense of Muay Thai fights, pro kickboxing. It's going to be great. There's also new things, new gear coming out. We have headgear, Muay Thai headgear. We have new Muay Thai gloves. Like, you'll see all that stuff. It's all going to be available for sale. Like, it's really awesome.
I'll also direct your attention to our social media profiles, Instagram, Facebook. We're going to be posting pictures very soon that showcase another new item that will be for sale that we've never sold before, that I think you're going to be pretty excited about. So keep an eye out for this post. There's going to be a post coming revealing something cool for sale.
Are you patting yourself on the back?
Patting myself on the back a little bit. Yeah. The other name is way harder to make a pun out of, but
just in case you were patting yourself on the back, I'll leave it alone.
That's awesome. Well done. What a mystery of what this could possibly be. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Saturday. We're only a couple days away at this point, man. Awesome. A couple sleeps away. Weigh-ins on Friday, and then it's freaking go time. So be at the Monroeville Convention Center on Saturday. Don't mess this up. This is your one chance, Fancy. Don't let us down. Let's go.
Let's go.